Welcome to the show, you two. You've both been reporting from the Diddy courtroom. What has it been, 2 weeks now?
Feels like 2 months.
So, should do you guys think celebrities should be above the law?
No, but they are.
You don't think so? You don't think Diddy should be getting away with all this, and this is just a sham trial, a
Does
patsy?
I mean, the only person that would think a celebrity should be above the law would be a celebrity, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think that. I just, as I'm watching this, I'm
I
like,
guess you could argue that they gave the culture a lot that some people didn't.
yeah, all those great records. But it feels like there's people who are saying this is a sham trial, nothing going on. And there's other people saying that this is like the next Epstein, that this is some satanic ritual stuff taking place in the music industry. What perception did you have of this trial? I guess, Brianna, we can start with you beforehand. And now that you're there, has your perception of the trial changed?
I mean, my perception of the trial was largely based on two things. The first was all of Emily's research this past year that she did for Diddy Files. I mean, she reminded me of so many good points in the hip hop culture from the 90s and the 2000s. And I've kind of just been following her lead and the things that she's picking out. And just, I got into this because I feel like Diddy was shoved down her throat and I want to know what we ate. And before I got into this, I was like, I think overall the charges he's faced against are difficult, but do I think he committed some type of crime? Yes. Do I know that we really are going to have evidence for these specific charges? I don't know, but I do think like the millennial culture, like we're really seeking answers for what we like took too much of, but through MTV and all those channels.
Right. Emily, what about you?
I think leading up to this trial, I definitely was diving into the more satanic parts of the music industry. I was researching Diddy's back tattoos and the satanic symbolism that he has inked on his body. But unfortunately, that's not what he's on trial for. Nobody cares about his tattoos. We're not talking about satanic sex orgies. We're really just talking about, so far, whether they can prove racketeering, sex trafficking, Rico, and right now we're just really hearing about a relationship between Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs, who would hire male escorts. And so far, we're not hearing them like go hoo ha hoo ha like do any chants. We're just hearing that Diddy's in a bandana, masturbating in the corner, rubbing semen on nipples. Like we're just hearing a lot of like perversion, but we're
Right.
not really hearing anything satanic. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that is satanic, but so far, we're not hearing about Clive Davis. We're not hearing about Lucien Grange. I'm not hearing about any of those people.
Right. Yeah. People are expecting all these big salacious stories to drop. Like, one is Justin Bieber and his connections. Has that come up yet at all in the courtroom?
It comes up every day. And then there's a lot of PR teams right now working to make sure that people aren't slandering Bieber, because a lot of people are assuming that he got raped by Diddy.
Right.
And he's going through it right now, I think, with all of that. I was told it never happened.
Didn't he come out saying it didn't happen?
He said it didn't happen too, yeah. But a lot of people are like, oh, he has to say that because it's so humiliating.
Right. People don't believe it.
Yeah, his team said it didn't happen, but they also could be protecting him.
Right. Yeah. I'm watching people kind of like lose interest because maybe they're not getting what they thought was going to confirm their biases about Diddy. But I still think it's like a really depraved situation. But maybe people are like applying crimes that aren't even in the courtroom, I guess. So like all this stuff that you talked about, Emily, that we're hearing rumors of, it's not showing up. They're just focusing on racketeering. And so far in the courtroom, is that coming off as like you think he's going to actually get hit with that?
I think Brianna just wrote something about that. I think she should answer that one.
Go for it.
I think with the subpoena of his executive assistants and personal assistants, it seemed like Diddy always had four male assistants at a time. In either they were like huge Italian dudes or like swagged ass like brown guys. And I feel like he always had a group of dudes who were willing to like go take Cassie's phone when she was misbehaving, go steal her car if she was misbehaving. And I think there's certainly evidence that he had like people of Combs Enterprises who enjoyed their six-figure salary were certainly down to do whatever he told them to. I mean, one assistant, George Kaplan, testified that Diddy asked him, go get me a 1 gallon of water. Kaplan was running late and he could not find 1 gallon of water. So he brought Diddy 2 half gallons, and Diddy threatened to fire him, got in his face, almost hit him.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of intimidation and like absolutely no autonomy for anyone besides Sean Combs.
Yeah, so he just sounds like a terrible boss getting away with a lot of stuff, like surrounded by yes men.
The weird part about George Kaplan's testimony, though, is like, yes, he's revealing a few things, but overall it sounded like a love letter to Diddy. While he was testifying, Diddy was leaning forward in his chair, nodding along to all these compliments that George was giving him. He was saying that Diddy made him the man he is today. Without Diddy, he never would have had a work ethic. He even said that the prosecution forced him to be there, and there's no reality he'd live in that he would ever want to be on that stand testifying against Diddy. And then last night I was starting to think, okay, there's got to be conspiracies I haven't thought of. And there was 2 moments in George's testimony that now that I'm thinking back on it, I'm like, my spidey sensors are going off. George Kaplan made a point to mention 2 of the biggest conspiracy theories surrounding Diddy. First is Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
He made a point to randomly say, yeah, May 21st, we had a holiday because it was Biggie's birthday, and Diddy loved him so much. So we always got a paid time off. And then the second thing that George Kaplan brought up was Diddy loved Kim Porter. He treated her above the rest of the girls. She was like a goddess. And I'm thinking, so those are the 2 rumors we're always seeing online, that Diddy offed Kim Porter and Biggie. And now this one specific witness that loves Diddy still, the one that Diddy's like nodding, you almost wonder, like, were they like, hey, can you like tell the crowd that he loves Biggie and that he loves Kim Porter? It just felt really on the nose.
Weird.
Brianna, what do you think about that? Brianna, when you hear that, like, what does that make you think? I saw your reaction.
Well, this is why I love being able to watch Emily's process, because she picks up these things that I'm like, oh my God, I was like in the bathroom or like zoned out, or like I just like, she just has these pinpoints of culture that get me excited every time. Yeah, I do think, I mean, any witness that's testifying in a criminal case is having meetings with attorneys before they get on the stand, and they are planting some seeds, and they have requests, certainly. So it does not surprise me that Diddy really was like looking for some PR every once in a while. And I think he's like grasping at straws. I mean, I think the first 2 days of him doing this and blowing kisses and waving to his mom, like, I'm in the moment you're like, aw.
I kept falling for it.
Really?
What?
You're falling for it?
I was falling for the charisma. I never, ever thought Diddy was a rapper with aura. And then during this.
We lost Emily.
Oh, there you are.
You're back. Okay, you were just saying you were falling for Diddy's aura.
The very first day, because I never thought Diddy would be a celebrity that I was like, ooh. And then the second he walked into the courtroom and did that heart thing, I was like, oh, I see why people say that he has Riz.
And the gray hair, right? He's got gray hair now, so does he look more sympathetic to the courthiness?
Didn't matter. Did not matter. He still had an energy about him. He still has this this confidence about him. Thinks he's invincible. There's definitely this dark, powerful energy that he encompasses that I'm certainly attracted to, because I'm very attracted to these dark forces because I want to find out more.
Yeah. You got to check yourself.
I met Kanye and Diddy. Diddy's presence is much more powerful than Kanye's.
Interesting. Wow. Well, Kanye has said multiple times he looks up to Diddy big time. You know, they're friends, despite whatever he's said in the past, but now he's on his side, which, you know, I don't really feel
he says he's his idol, his twin, his mentor. Right. At first it was a fad. And then you have to wonder, that's still another big part of this. He could be
a fed. I've always thought he was a Fed, and when Kanye first said that years ago, I thought that makes sense. And that doesn't mean he's like a federal agent. It means he's like been bought off. He's been working for the Feds. Maybe he is a Fed. I don't know, like a actual agent. But I think that's very possible. You know, they run these. If it is like a blackmail operation, if there's something like that going on, that is something the governments like to do. All of the governments. So it's possible. You were talking about the George, was it Kaplan as a witness?
Mm-hmm.
Who was he in relation? Just like a worker, an employee, an assistant. Mm-hmm. Who was the bodyguard?
He's like a personal liaison.
Who was the bodyguard?
D-Rock and Rue. They've been mentioned by a lot, but they haven't been there yet. I'm hoping they've been subpoenaed. But that's the thing about this case is, first of all, we've gone from ending at 5 o'clock to ending at 3 o'clock. So that's really cutting our time inside the courtroom. And the witness list, like, it's unguessable. We've heard rumors of Albie Shore. We've heard rumors like we saw an ABC notebook that said Chris Brown and Fat Joe, and we're like, are these people coming? Are we just like hallucinating these things? Like, or is this wishful thinking? Like, I like my Pokemon card that I want to see is like a holographic Kimora Lee Simmons. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that woman knows every single story, but I don't think she'll be there.
Right.
There's a lot left to be desired from the rumors that we've heard versus the reality.
And what about the I forget what he was. I thought maybe not a bodyguard, but like somebody, maybe an escort that was arrested a while back for shooting in a hotel at one point.
That is honestly, I just watched that clip before I got here again, and everything he said in that video is exactly what the male escorts are saying on the stand. Like, he's literally saying, I had to have sex with Diddy or with Cassie Ventura because Diddy's operating. I think he said the Black Boule. He got into the Black Boule, and I did a podcast with Red Pill Alice in October about the Black Boule and the Black Excellence. And you can look it up. It's like, it's public info. It's not a conspiracy, but that sex slave is literally describing the freak offs exactly as we're hearing the other male escorts describe the freak offs. So that's pretty freaky.
His story is crazy. I mean, he's saying like he was arrested for shooting up a Trump Tower or something.
This whole thing feels like a fad.
It's really bizarre story.
Like, why would he? That storyline, that pipeline's weird.
It's weird, but that's years old. You know, so there's a lot of old pieces coming together for this trial that doesn't make sense, or it does make sense. I don't know.
And so far, we're not hearing that the freak-offs happened at any of his famous white parties in the Hamptons. All we're hearing is that these freak-offs happened in his LA, New York, Miami residences and at hotels, and it was only between him and his girlfriends, and then these male escorts. We're not hearing that like Ashton Kutcher was in the corner too. Like, people are acting as if this was like Diddy's secret world with his partner. They're kind of making it more like it was his kink, his choreographed fetish that he did at night that no one knew about. Right. That's kind of how they're painting it.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. And like the Kanye was saying stuff. I'm curious what you guys think about that, about him saying Cassie was, you know, like an accomplice to the freak offs. And doesn't what we're seeing kind of make that?
Kanye said exactly what the defense is saying, because Kanye called Diddy on the phone in prison and Diddy told him what to say. So Kanye didn't even have that opinion until he had that call with Diddy, and then he put North on that track.
Oh, yeah.
But Kanye seems like, Kanye was right. Kanye wasn't right. Kanye got that information directly from Diddy himself. And then I get to court and they're saying the exact same thing that Kanye said. So I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense, because that's in line with what the defense's argument is that Cassie was organizing the orgies. That's what she was orchestrating. She was the one booking the escorts. She admitted it on the stand.
Right.
So everything that Kanye said is exactly what all of Diddy's defense attorneys are saying too. They're painting Cassie as an accomplice and kind of like painting her as the real villain in the story, that she played Kid Cudi and Diddy and made all these male escorts fall in love with her.
So they're making her out to be like a Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like a way hotter Ghislaine Maxwell. No one thought Ghislaine was hot. Everyone knows Cassie's like the sexiest woman.
But that could just go back to the intimidation, right? She was intimidated. She had to do these things or else.
Or else she get her ass beat.
But
We've seen it on camera. So there's like no wondering why she would go along with him for 10 years.
That's true.